Hey Virgo, something landed in my lap today that I was not prepared for. And I want to be careful about how I say that because I am aware of how easy it is in spaces like this to use language of surprise and unexpectedness as a rhetorical device, as a way of building anticipation before delivering something that turns out to be far more ordinary than the setup suggested. I want you to understand that what I am about to tell you is not that. What arrived when I sat with your energy today was genuinely, specifically, almost disarmingly different from what I was expecting to find. Because I sat down, prepared to read through difficulty, prepared to navigate complexity and nuance, and the particular kind of layered, careful delivery that situations requiring real discernment tend to call for. I sat down ready for that kind of reading. And what came through instead was something so clean, so warm, so completely and unambiguously oriented in a single positive direction that it actually took me a moment to trust it. Because you have been through enough, Virgo, that receiving something this clearly good without immediately looking for the catch has required some unlearning on your part. And I want to acknowledge that before we go any further. The part of you that is already scanning this reading for the caveat, for the but, for the place where the warmth gets complicated by something harder, that part of you makes complete sense. It was trained by real experience. It developed for real reasons. But today, there is no but. Today, the miracle actually showed up. Stay with me, because what I receive for you today is the kind of message that I want to make sure lands in its full, complete, unedited glory without me softening it or qualifying it or hedging it into something smaller than what it actually is. Let me tell you what happened when this came through, because the process of the arrival is itself part of the message. I set my intention. I asked for what was most present, most urgent, most necessary for you to hear right now. And what came back was not the gradual building, assembling piece by piece quality that most readings carry. It came back immediately, fully formed, already complete, with the specific, unmistakable quality of something that has been waiting to be delivered and that arrived the moment it was given the opening to do so. Like it had been sitting right at the threshold, already fully organized into language, already carrying its own momentum, simply waiting for someone to open the door. And what was on the other side of that door, Virgo, was not warning or complexity or the careful navigation of something unresolved. It was light, a specific, warm, almost embarrassingly generous quality of light that had your name on it in a way that felt personal, specific, chosen rather than distributed generally to anyone who might be watching. This reading is for you, the particular, real, specific version of you that has been navigating a particular set of circumstances with a particular quality of patience and grace and quiet, sustained faith that something better was on its way, even when the evidence for that faith was thin on the ground. That faith is about to be rewarded, not symbolically, not metaphorically, in the actual, tangible, holdable, real life consequence kind of way. Let me start where this actually starts, because understanding the ground this miracle is growing from is what makes its arrival make complete sense rather than feeling random or unearned. You have been in a season, Virgo, a real one. The kind that does not have a catchy name or a simple description, because what it has actually involved is too layered and too personal and too specific to your particular life to compress into a phrase. But I feel the texture of it clearly, and I want to name what I feel because I think being seen in it matters. Even now, even on the day the season is turning, it has been a season of holding, of maintaining, of continuing to show up for your own life with full presence and full integrity and full commitment to the values that define who you are, even when showing up required more than it gave back for stretches of time that tested the limits of what anyone could reasonably be expected to sustain without visible reward. You did not get the visible reward on schedule. You did not receive the confirmation that what you were investing, the patience, the continued growth, the quiet and largely unwitnessed work of becoming more fully and completely yourself, was building toward anything in particular at the pace you might have hoped for. And there were moments, private ones, the kind that do not make it into conversations with other people because they are too honest and too vulnerable and too close to the bone, where you wondered, where you sat with the wondering and did not let it become despair, which is one of the most quietly remarkable things I feel in your energy. You held the wondering and kept going anyway, not from toxic positivity or denial of what was hard, but from something deeper, a foundational, bone level belief in your own worth and in the reality of what you were moving toward that persisted even when it had very little to feed on. That is not nothing, Virgo. That is one of the most significant things a human being can do inside a difficult season. And it is precisely what has been building the specific readiness that makes what is coming now able to land in your life the way it is about to land. Let me speak to what the best case scenario actually is, because the title of this reading makes a promise, and I intend to honor it in full rather than gesturing toward it vaguely and leaving you to fill in the details with whatever your particular anxiety or hope happens to project. What I am feeling is not one thing, it is a convergence. Multiple threads of your life, threads that have been developing separately on their own timelines, each building toward their own point of maturity, reaching that maturity simultaneously in a window of time that is not coincidental. That simultaneity, that arriving together of things that have been growing toward their individual readiness for a while now, is what gives this moment the quality I can only describe as miraculous. Not because miracles are supernatural, but because they are what it looks like from the inside when a long accumulation of invisible work finally reaches the surface all at once. When the seeds that were planted in what felt like empty ground suddenly show that they were growing the entire time, underground, out of sight, building the root system that the visible growth is going to need in order to be sustainable rather than temporary. What is coming for you has roots, Virgo, deep ones that have been developing in the dark for longer than felt comfortable. And what is about to break the surface is not going to be a sprout that needs to be protected from the weather. It is going to be something that arrived ready already strong enough to stand in what it is, already developed past the fragile stage. I want to speak to the specific areas of your life where this convergence is going to be felt because I feel multiple threads and I want to honor each of them rather than collapsing them into one general statement of good things are coming. The first thread is relational. There is a shift happening in the quality of connection available to you, either through a relationship that already exists being transformed into something more honest and more reciprocal than it has been, or through the arrival of a new connection that carries a quality of genuine recognition that you have not encountered recently at quite this depth. What distinguishes this relational shift from things that have arrived before and disappointed is the groundedness of it. The specific, unperformative, not trying to be anything other than what it is quality of what is coming toward you in this area. It does not arrive with fanfare. It arrives with presence, with the specific warmth of something that is simply and completely real. For some of you, this is a person you already know whose relationship to you is about to shift in a way that clarifies something that has been ambiguous, whose feelings contained for a variety of reasons for a period of time that has been long enough are about to become something you no longer have to sense beneath the surface because they are going to be brought to the surface directly. For others, this is someone new, someone who arrives in your life through a channel you were not necessarily monitoring and who presents themselves not as a dramatic, unmistakable arrival, but as something quieter, something that grows into its own significance rather than announcing it. The second thread is material. And I want to speak about this one carefully because material abundance is an area where spiritual readings can sometimes promise things in vague enough language that nothing specific enough to be verified is actually being said. I do not want to do that. What I feel in this thread is specific. There is movement coming in your financial or professional circumstances that has the quality of something that has been blocked becoming unblocked. Not through external intervention or sudden luck in the way that phrase is commonly understood, through the natural, inevitable arrival of a result that your own work and your own vision and your own particular way of approaching problems has been building toward. Something you contributed to, something you built, something you did is about to be recognized and responded to in a way that changes what is materially available to you. For some of you, this is a direct financial development, an amount arriving, or a situation resolving in a way that releases something that has been held. For others, this is professional recognition, an opportunity extending itself in your direction that reflects a real and accurate assessment of your value rather than the underassessment that has been more common in your recent experience. And for a few of you, this is the simple, concrete, deeply satisfying arrival of stability in an area that has been anything but stable for longer than felt fair. I want to sit with something here for a moment before I continue, because I feel it arriving very specifically for a portion of you, and I do not want to move past it without naming it directly. For some of you, the miracle I am describing is not external at all, or not primarily external. What is arriving for you is internal. A shift in your own relationship to yourself, to your own worth, to your own capacity to receive what you actually deserve without the interference of the very sophisticated internal arguments you have been making for a long time about why what you have is sufficient or why asking for more is presumptuous, or why the gap between what you are settling for and what you actually want is simply the reasonable distance between fantasy and reality. That internal argument is losing its grip on you. Something is loosening in the place where that argument has been anchored, and what the loosening produces is not chaos or destabilization, but the specific, almost physical relief of a long held tension finally releasing, of a version of yourself that has been slightly contracted, slightly defended, slightly arranged around the management of not wanting too much, beginning to expand back toward its natural size. That expansion, for some of you, is the miracle, the internal one, the one that makes all the external ones possible by creating in you the specific quality of receptivity that allows good things to actually land rather than being deflected by the very protection mechanisms that kept you safe through the harder seasons. You are becoming able to receive, Virgo, fully, without the automatic reaching for the catch that has been the understandable but limiting response to the experiences that taught you to look for it. Have you felt something shifting in your own energy recently? A lightness that does not seem fully explained by your external circumstances? A quality of openness that is arriving not because things have already gotten better, but almost as a precursor to them getting better, as though some part of you knows something your conscious mind has not yet been given full access to? Let me know in the comments, because I feel this is real and specific for a significant number of you right now, and I want to know how it is presenting in your actual daily experience. I want to speak to the timing of this because I feel it clearly, and I know that timing is one of the things you most want to understand when a reading describes something you have been waiting for. What is coming is not distant. I want to say that plainly, without pretending to a precision about exact dates that would be dishonest. I do not traffic in exact dates, and I will not start now. But the quality of what I feel when I sit with the timeline of this is not the quality of something that requires a long further stretch of waiting before it manifests. It has the quality of something that is close. That has completed the majority of the distance between where it has been building and where you are standing. That is in what I would describe as the final approach. The season I described earlier, the one of holding and maintaining and continuing without visible reward, that season is ending. Not because I am saying so, but because I can feel the specific energetic quality of a season that has run its course and is giving way to something new. The way you can feel the quality of air changing before weather arrives. The way you sense a shift before its cause becomes visible. Something is shifting, Virgo, already, in ways that are not yet fully visible in your external circumstances, but that are real and that are moving toward visibility with a momentum that I do not feel as stoppable. Inhale with me for a second, Virgo, because I want to say something about how to receive what is coming, because receiving well is a skill, and it is one that the season you have just been through may have temporarily complicated. When the miracle arrives, and it is arriving, your first instinct may be to look for what is wrong with it, to find the asterisk, to locate the place where the good news becomes qualified, or the warmth becomes conditional, or the thing that is being offered turns out to be something other than what it appeared. That instinct is not a flaw. It was earned through real experience. It developed for real reasons, and it has protected you from real disappointments. But I want to invite you in this specific window to let that instinct be present without obeying it completely, to let it do its checking and its scanning and its careful assessment while also allowing another part of you, the part that has been holding faith through the entirety of this season, to be present in equal measure. To let both parts of you engage with what arrives rather than giving the protective part sole authority over how you receive it, because what is coming does not have an asterisk. And if you receive it primarily through the lens of looking for one, you risk spending the first moments of your miracle in the exhausting process of trying to find a problem with something that is simply, genuinely, unambiguously good. Let it be good, Virgo. As strange and unfamiliar as that might feel at first, let it be exactly what it appears to be. Your discernment will confirm it in time, but let the warmth land first. Let me speak to the people around you in the context of what is coming, because I feel their energy present in this reading, and what they carry matters to the full picture. There are people in your life who have been holding hope for you through this season in ways they have not always fully expressed, because expressing it felt like it might add pressure rather than comfort. People who have seen what you have been navigating and who have carried their own private faith in your eventual flourishing, even in the moments when you were struggling to maintain your own. People whose love for you has been steady and quiet and present through all of it without requiring acknowledgement or reciprocation. These people are about to experience something beautiful, Virgo. They are about to witness the arrival of what they have been holding hope for on your behalf. And the joy they are going to feel watching this land in your life, watching the season turn and the convergence arrive and the best case scenario become your actual lived reality, is going to be one of the purest expressions of love you have ever had the experience of being surrounded by. Let them celebrate with you. Let their joy be part of your receiving. You do not have to carry this alone, and you do not have to minimize it for the comfort of people who might feel uncomfortable with the fullness of your flourishing. The people who genuinely love you will not feel uncomfortable. They will feel exactly what they should feel: relieved, grateful, and completely unreservedly happy for you. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to come back to something I said at the very beginning, to the quality of what arrived when I sat down with your energy today, to the warmth of it, the specificity of it, the completely unambiguous direction of it. I have been doing this work for a long time, and in that time, I have learned to distinguish between the energy of things that are possible and the energy of things that are in motion. Between the energy of things that might happen under the right conditions and the energy of things that are already happening, already underway, already past the point of uncertainty and into the territory of simply arriving at the right moment. What I felt today was the second kind, not a possibility, not a potential. Something already in motion, already crossing the final distance, already carrying with it the specific warmth of something that has your name on it and knows where it is going. The miracle you have been waiting for is not waiting anymore, Virgo. It stopped waiting. It started moving. And the distance between where it is right now and where you are standing is the shortest it has ever been. You do not have to do anything to make this happen. You do not have to perform readiness or manufacture faith or convince the universe that you deserve what is coming. It already knows you deserve it. It has known for longer than you have been waiting. The timing was never about your worthiness. It was about everything being in place, and everything is in place. Receive this, Virgo, with open hands and a chest that is willing just this once to accept something good without immediately looking for what is wrong with it, because nothing is wrong with it. It is simply, finally, completely yours. If this reading brought something warm and alive into your day today, please share it with a Virgo who needs to feel this energy right now, and leave me a comment below. Tell me what area of your life you feel this convergence moving toward. Tell me what you have been holding faith for through this season. Tell me what it feels like to sit with the possibility that the waiting is actually finally genuinely over. I read every single word you share with me, every comment, every story. I carry your energy with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo, the best case scenario is not a fantasy anymore. It is simply what happens next, and you have earned every single moment of it.